Genesis chapter 31. Jacob heard Laban's sons complaining, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and he acquired all this wealth and honor from what belonged to our father. And Jacob noticed that Laban looked at him less favorably than before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your people, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock. And he said to them, I see how your father looks at me, that he is not friendly toward me as before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my might and power. But your father has deceived me and changed my ways just 10 times, but God did not allow him to hurt me. He said, If, he said, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flock bore speckled. And if he said, the streaked shall be your hire, then all the flock bore streaked. Thus God has taken away the flocks of your father and given them to me. And I had a dream at the time the flock conceived. I looked up and saw that the rams which mated with the she-goats were streaked, speckled, and spotted. And the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Look up and see, all the rams which mate with the flock are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban does to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar, and where you vowed a vow to me. Now arise, get out from this land, and return to your native land. And Rachel and Leah answered him, Is there any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted by him as strangers? For he sold us, and has also quite devoured our money, the price you paid for us. For all the riches which God has taken from our father are ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do it. Then Jacob rose and set his sons and his wives upon the camels, and he drove away all of his livestock and all of his gain which he had gotten, and the livestock he had attained and accumulated in the Padan, to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to shear his sheep, possibly to the feast of sheep shearing, and Rachel stole her father's household gods. And Jacob outwitted Laban the Syrian, in that he did not tell him that he intended to flee and slip away secretly. So he fled with all that he had, and arose and crossed the river Euphrates, and set his face towards the hill country of Gilead. But on the third day Laban was told that Jacob had fled. So he took his kinsmen with him and pursued after Jacob for 7 days, and they overtook him in the hill country of Gilead. But God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said to him, Be careful that you do not speak from good to bad to Jacob, peaceably, then violently. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent on the hill, and Laban, coming with his kinsmen, pitched his tent on the same hill of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What do you mean, stealing away and leaving like this without my knowing it, and carrying off my daughters as if captives of the sword? Why did you flee secretly, and cheat me, and not tell me, so that I might have sent you away with joy and gladness, and with singing, with tambourine and lyre? And why did you not permit me to kiss my sons, my grandchildren, and my daughters good-bye? Now you have done foolishly in behaving like this. It is in my power to do you harm, but the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Be careful that you do not speak from good to bad to Jacob, peaceably, then violently. And now you felt like you must go because you were homesick for your father's house, but why did you steal my household gods? Jacob answered Laban, Because I was afraid, for I thought, suppose you would take your daughters from me by force. The one with whom you find those gods of yours, let him not live. Here before our kinsmen, search my possessions and take whatever you find that belongs to you. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the images. So Laban went to Jacob's tent and to Leah's tent, to the tent of 2 maids, but he did not find him. Then he went from Leah's tent to Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images, the gods, and put them in the camel's saddle, and sat on them. Laban searched and felt through all the tent, but did not find them. And Rachel said to her father, Do not be displeased, my lord, that I cannot rise up before you, for the period of women is upon me, and I am unwell. And he searched, but did not find the gods. Then Jacob became angry and reproached and argued with Laban. And Jacob said to Laban, What is my fault? What is my sin that you so hotly pursued me? Although you have searched and felt through all my household possessions, what have you found of all your household goods? Put it here before my brethren and yours, that they may judge and decide between us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your she-goats have not lost their young, and the rams of your flock have not been eaten by me. I did not bring you the carcasses of the animals torn by wild beasts. I bore the loss of it. You required of me to make good all that was stolen, whether it occurred by day or by night. This was my lot. By day the heat consumed me, and by night the cold, and I could not sleep. I have been 20 years in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flocks, and you have changed my wages 10 times. And if the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the dread lest he should fall, and fear lest he should offend of Isaac, had not been with me, surely you would have sent me away now empty handed. God has seen my affliction and humiliation and the wearying labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night. Laban answered Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, these children are my children, these flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do today to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? So come now, let us make a covenant or league, you and I, and let it be for a witness between you and me. So Jacob set up a stone for a pillar or monument. And Jacob said to his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate together there upon the heap. Laban called it Jereshadadutha, witness heap, but Jacob called it Gilead, witness heap. Laban said, This heap is a witness today between you and me, therefore it was named Gilead. And the pillar of the monument was called Mizpah, which means watchpost. For he, Laban said, May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent and hidden from one another. If you should afflict, humiliate, or lower, divorce my daughters, or if you should take other wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us to witness, see, remember, God is witness between you and me. And Laban said to Jacob, See this heap and this pillar which I have set up between you and me? This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass by this heap to you, and that you will not pass by this heap and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, and the God of Nahor, and the God, the object of worship of their father, Terah, an idolater, judge between us. But Jacob swore only by the one true God, the dread and the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain, and called his brethren to eat food. And they ate food, and lingered all night on the mountain. And early in the morning Laban rose, and kissed his grandchildren and his daughters, and pronounced a blessing, asking God's favor on them. Then Laban departed, and returned to his home.